stop blaming your genetics. A silent, industrial-grade assassin in your daily shower is systematically destroying your follicles, while your own body ruthlessly starves your scalp just to survive. Uncover the chilling medical truth the multi-billion-dollar industry is desperately hiding before you lose another strand. There is a silent tragedy happening in your bathroom every single morning, a slow and agonizing theft of your identity that washes down the drain before you even step out of the shower. You watch the clumps of hair gather at your feet, and with each fallen strand, a profound, suffocating panic grips your chest. You are told by doctors and glossy pharmaceutical advertisements that this is just genetics, a cruel roll of the biological dice, and that your only salvation lies in expensive, lifelong chemical dependency. But what if I told you that the very water soaking your scalp and the luxurious lather you massage into your roots are actually industrial-grade assassins meticulously designed to suffocate your follicles? At Canada's Senior Health Guide 04 warmly welcomes you to a revelation that the multi-billion-dollar hair loss industry has desperately tried to keep buried in the fine print. If you are ready to finally uncover the biological truth and reclaim not just your hair, but your fundamental vitality, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel right now so we can continue bringing you these life-changing medical awakenings. I will never forget the morning James sat across from me in my consultation room, his hands shaking uncontrollably as he placed a clear plastic bag on my desk. Inside was a dense, lifeless clump of his own hair, the grim harvest of just one morning routine. At 42, the terror in his eyes was something I had seen in thousands of patients over my 3 decades of practice. He looked at me with a shattered sense of self and whispered that he was losing a piece of his soul every single day. The psychological devastation of hair loss is immense. It is a thief that robs you of your confidence, your youth, and your peace of mind. In this state of sheer desperation, it is natural to run toward the heavily marketed pharmaceutical saviors. We are brainwashed into believing that topical serums and hormone-altering oral pills are our only life rafts. But as a medical professional, I must ask you to look at the horrifying diagnostic reality of these conventional traps. You might rub a chemical on your scalp to force artificial blood flow, but the exact moment you stop, your hair falls out faster and more violently than before, leaving you chained to a product for life. Worse still are the pills that systemically block your hormones. The dark, unspoken reality of these drugs involves devastating side effects like severe erectile dysfunction, a complete collapse of libido, and deep, inescapable depressive episodes. We are literally chemically castrating our fundamental life force just to temporarily save a few strands of dead protein on our heads. This must stop today. We are going completely off the pharmaceutical script to address the true biological blueprint of your hair, starting with the toxic rain you willingly stand under every day. To rebuild a shattered foundation, we must first halt the active destruction. The municipal tap water you use to cleanse yourself is laced with a chemical that is actively paralyzing your hair growth cycle. I am speaking of fluoride. While heavily defended for dental health, from a strict endocrinology standpoint, fluoride is a systemic catastrophe. As a halogen, it shares a nearly identical molecular structure with iodine. Because of this sinister resemblance, fluoride violently competes for the receptors in your thyroid gland. When your thyroid absorbs this toxic chemical instead of essential iodine, it begins to shut down, plunging you into subclinical hypothyroidism. Your thyroid is the master thermostat of your entire metabolism. When it is suffocated by fluoride, your body panics and goes into a severe triage mode. It desperately pulls life-sustaining energy and nutrients away from non-essential functions, like growing hair, just to keep your vital organs functioning. Your follicles are brutally forced out of their growth phase and pushed prematurely into the shedding phase. You simply cannot cultivate a vibrant, thriving garden if you are drowning it in toxic, endocrine-disrupting runoff every morning, which makes installing a heavy metal and fluoride-removing shower filter your absolute first line of defense. But the assault does not end with the water. We must dissect the horrifying structural corrosion you apply next. Your hair is a magnificent, complex biological structure forged from keratin, a highly durable protein. Yet, if you look at the back of almost any commercial shampoo bottle in your home, you will see sodium lauryl sulfate or sodium laureth sulfate. These are not healing agents. They are highly abrasive, industrial-grade surfactants. They are the exact same aggressive chemical compounds utilized in manufacturing to degrease car engines and scrub garage floors. When you unknowingly massage these harsh detergents into your scalp day after day, you are initiating a violent structural corrosion. These chemicals ruthlessly strip away your natural protective sebum and systematically erode the delicate lipid barrier that shields your keratin core. It is the biological equivalent of taking a harsh wire brush to the foundation of your home. This daily chemical warfare leaves your hair shafts deeply porous, brittle, and highly susceptible to snapping right at the root, while the resulting microinflammation actively damages your precious follicular stem cells. You must immediately throw away these toxic detergents and transition exclusively to gentle, sulfate-free, botanical-based cleansers, because we absolutely cannot begin the miraculous process of cellular regeneration until we stop burning down the biological armor of your scalp. Once we have successfully stopped burning down the biological armor of your scalp from the outside, we must urgently turn our gaze inward to the metabolic furnace that actually fuels hair creation. Over the years, I have analyzed the blood panels of thousands of men and women who were spending small fortunes on topical illusions, completely oblivious to the fact that their bodies were starving on a microscopic level. You must understand a harsh physiological truth. In the grand hierarchy of human survival, your hair is considered entirely expendable. If your system lacks the fundamental building blocks of life, your brain will ruthlessly steal essential resources away from your follicles to prioritize your heart, lungs, and liver. The most profound, unspoken deficiency I uncover in my clinic is a catastrophic depletion of ferritin, the stored form of iron, paired with dangerously low levels of vitamin D3. We are not just talking about feeling a little fatigued, we are talking about an internal environment so compromised that the body enters a chronic state of metabolic triage, literally suffocating the oxygen supply to your scalp. When you compound this with a hyper-processed diet that actively destroys the gut microbiome, your intestinal lining loses the ability to absorb zinc, magnesium, and trace minerals. These are the exact, non-negotiable raw materials required to synthesize keratin. I constantly remind my patients that their hair is not an isolated cosmetic appendage, but rather the ultimate biological dashboard indicator of their internal vitality. We do not fix this with artificial multivitamins that pass right through your system. We begin this profound nutritional resurrection by flooding your biology with ancestral, bioavailable nutrients like grass-fed organ meats, wild-caught marine collagen, and deeply mineral-rich bone broths that bypass a compromised digestive tract and absorb directly into the bloodstream. This is how you prove to your nervous system that it is finally out of survival mode, signaling that it is biologically safe to allocate precious energy back into cultivating life at the root. Yet, even the most nutrient-dense blood will be rendered useless if the microscopic environment surrounding your hair follicles is entirely hostile. This brings us to the most misunderstood villain in the entire hair loss narrative: dihydrotestosterone, or DHT. The pharmaceutical industry has spent decades terrifying you into believing that DHT is a toxic enemy that must be eradicated at all costs, pushing you toward those castrating prescription pills we discussed earlier. But as a physician who honors the intricate wisdom of the human body, I can tell you that DHT is a crucial, natural androgen responsible for your drive, your cognitive sharpness, and your fundamental masculine vitality. The tragedy occurs when chronic systemic inflammation and rampant insulin resistance cause your body to overproduce the 5-alpha reductase enzyme, which rapidly converts healthy testosterone into an overwhelming flood of DHT that miniaturizes the hair follicle. We do not need to drop a chemical nuclear bomb on your entire hormonal profile to fix this localized issue. Instead, we use the profound intelligence of botanical medicine to gently disarm the trigger. Clinical literature has repeatedly shown that organic pumpkin seed oil and concentrated saw palmetto extract act as powerful natural modulators. When taken internally and applied topically, they bind to the specific receptors on your scalp, effectively shielding the follicle from excess DHT without ever crossing the blood-brain barrier to destroy your systemic libido or mental health. I have watched patients weep with relief when they realize they do not have to choose between keeping their hair and keeping their manhood. By stabilizing your blood sugar, reducing your stress-induced cortisol, and utilizing these ancient botanical protectors, we create a harmonious, anti-inflammatory sanctuary around the hair bulb. We preserve your life force while simultaneously locking the door against the hormonal assassins that seek to shrink your follicles into oblivion. With your internal chemistry finely balanced and the hormonal assault neutralized, we must now physically wake up the dormant stem cells that have been sleeping beneath the surface of your scalp. For years, people have relied on chemical vasodilators that artificially force blood into the tissue, creating a false, temporary dependency that collapses the moment you miss a single dose. I want to guide you toward a far more authentic and permanent biological awakening. The secret lies in a medical mechanism known as angiogenesis, the miraculous creation of brand new, permanent blood vessels. We achieve this not with synthetic drugs, but through deliberate, controlled microtrauma using a clinical-grade microneedling device. When you gently roll these microscopic needles across your thinning areas, you are sending a massive, localized distress signal to your brain. Your body responds exactly as it was designed to, rushing a flood of oxygen, collagen, and platelet-rich plasma directly to the scalp to heal the perceived injury, which completely revitalizes the follicular bed. When you pair this mechanical stimulation with the deep, penetrating warmth of therapeutic-grade rosemary essential oil, a botanical proven in double-blind studies to rival the most popular pharmaceutical treatments, you create a perfect storm of cellular regeneration. I will never forget the shift in James's posture when, months after our initial consultation, he felt the undeniable prickle of new, terminal hairs pushing through his previously barren scalp. It was not a chemical illusion. It was his own body, finally given the correct physiological signals, remembering how to heal itself. This intentional practice of mechanical stimulation and botanical nourishment transforms your scalp from a suffocated, barren desert into a thriving, oxygen-rich environment where new growth is not just possible, but biologically inevitable. This profound biological symphony of stopping the toxins, feeding the cells, balancing the hormones, and reigniting the blood flow culminates in something far greater than just cosmetic repair. It is a fundamental reclamation of your identity and your power. The medical awakening we have explored today is not a quick, overnight fix packaged in a shiny bottle. It is a lifelong commitment to honoring the incredible, self-healing machinery of your own biology. The multi-billion-dollar hair loss industry relies entirely on your despair, your ignorance, and your willingness to become a lifelong dependent on their synthetic chemicals. But now, you hold the blueprint to break those chains forever. You understand the hidden dangers lurking in your showerhead, the abrasive toxins masquerading as luxury shampoos, and the catastrophic internal deficiencies that have been silently starving your roots. More importantly, you now possess the knowledge to rebuild your foundation naturally, preserving your hormonal integrity while waking up the dormant life force within your scalp. When I look at my patients today, men and women who have walked this holistic path and emerged on the other side, I do not just see people with thicker hair. I see individuals who have taken absolute sovereignty over their health, standing tall with a renewed, unshakable confidence that radiates from the inside out. Your hair is a living, breathing extension of your deepest vitality, and it is time you treated it with the profound respect and care it deserves. Do not let another day pass in quiet surrender to the silent assassins of hair loss. Implement these foundational truths, trust in the brilliant resilience of your body, and step into the vibrant, thriving life that has always belonged to you. True hair restoration is never found at the bottom of a chemical-laden shampoo bottle or within a prescription pill that compromises your fundamental vitality. Instead, it is an intricate biological symphony that demands a holistic, inside-out approach to healing. Your hair acts as the ultimate indicator of your internal health, signaling when your body is in metabolic triage due to nutrient deficiencies, chronic inflammation, or hormonal imbalances. To reverse thinning and reclaim your hair, you must first stop the assault of external toxins and nourish your follicular soul with bioavailable ancestral nutrients like bone broth and organ meats to resolve silent deficiencies in ferritin and vitamin D3. Secondly, you must achieve hormonal harmony. Rather than eradicating DHT and sacrificing your life force, utilize botanical protectors like saw palmetto and organic pumpkin seed oil to shield the scalp locally. Finally, you must physically awaken dormant stem cells through deliberate mechanical stimulation like clinical-grade microneedling paired with therapeutic rosemary oil, initiating natural blood vessel creation. By integrating these practices, you are not merely treating a cosmetic flaw. You are engaging in a profound reclamation of your biological sovereignty. You transition from being a lifelong dependent of the pharmaceutical industry to an empowered individual honoring the self-healing machinery of your own body. This blueprint goes beyond regrowing hair. It restores your confidence, resilience, and overall life force. Your body is a deeply interconnected, intelligent ecosystem, not a series of isolated parts to be chemically subdued. A localized symptom, like hair loss, is rarely just a cosmetic issue. It is a vital distress signal from your internal dashboard warning you of systemic starvation, toxicity, or hormonal imbalance. True healing never comes from suppressing symptoms with synthetic band-aids. It comes from providing the body with the exact raw materials and safe environment it needs to heal itself. Stop chasing overnight fixes and start auditing your biological foundation. Begin by examining what you ingest and what you apply to your skin. Swap out hyper-processed foods for nutrient-dense, ancestral staples like high-quality proteins, trace minerals, and bone broths to rebuild your internal stores. Replace harsh chemical personal care products with natural, botanical alternatives. Introduce gentle, intentional practices like scalp microneedling paired with rosemary oil to stimulate circulation naturally. Above all, listen to your body's signals and prioritize your systemic vitality over temporary cosmetic illusions. Which of these natural approaches, upgrading your nutrition, utilizing botanical oils for hormone balance, or trying scalp microneedling, are you most excited to implement first? Please share your perspective and your choice in the comments section below so our community can reference different ideas and learn from each other. If you found this video valuable, please subscribe to the channel to support our work and give us the motivation to keep creating more empowering, life-changing content for you.